right, all. I am here. We should be seeing me if we're working correctly. Let me check on that, actually. Let me see if we're working here. Should be working here now. Okay, just give me a moment here. Yes, we are live in living color. We are here. Okay, nice. Okay. All right, here. Yeah. Okay, let me get this going. We're going to get the chat going. We're going to open a chat here. Yes, we are, because we're going to chat. We are live in living color. We are here. Okay, nice. Okay. All right, here. Yeah. Okay, let me get this going. We're going to get the chat going. Give me one moment here. We're going to open a chat here. Yes, we are, because we're going to chat. Okay, cool. We're going. We are going, guys. All right. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to make sure we're going to share the right one here. Here we go. This is the right one. Okay. All right, cool. We are live. Living color, people. Yes, we are. Ha ha ha. All right, so today I had an episode planned, but I made a boo-boo. Oopsie. That's okay. It'll be fixed. It'll happen. It'll still happen. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get it rescheduled, so don't worry. But I figure it's still coming here today, just to record something. Yeah, definitely need to be paying more attention to this podcast. I definitely need to be paying more attention to it. It's been 6 months. Yeah, when was the last time I did an episode? It was like, like towards the beginning of the year when I first did the episode, and now here we are again, touching base. And today, I figured today would be a perfect, be an interlude. I can talk to you guys more. I mean, I feel this is kind of around the realm of what we're going to be talking about with the auditorium. With the fact that, of what I'm about. There's a lot that I do that you guys don't realize that I do. And a lot of what I do is just second nature to me. I don't even think about it. I'm just doing it. But yeah, there's a lot that I do. And, I think, I never realized this, but I think now that I realize this, I'm definitely going to make it more of a thing because, in my own way, like I don't really like say much about it. I really don't talk about it. I really don't really, don't really like treat it like it's a big thing because but in a way, in my, I am a local celebrity around here in my own way, just with what I do, everything I'm a part of now. I'm all intents and purposes, I am a local celebrity. But I just, I don't really say much about that. I don't really see myself as that, even though, yes, in all intents and purposes, yes, I am. But to me, I'm not looking at that way. Because, a lot of what I'm doing, I'm doing it because, I want to help people. That's what I'm doing that's why I'm doing a lot of what I'm doing, because I know there are, a lot of artists out there that are struggling to get the word out. And it's hard now because, back, all right, I'm a lot older than I look. Okay. I'm not I look like I'm probably in my 20s. I'm a lot older than I look. So I'm actually in my 40s to be 45. So, back in my day, when musicians were trying to get stuff out, that's where they had the print, they had the magazines, you had the flyers, you had the stuff, physical stuff you can actually hand to people and they could take it. And so that was, that wasn't as challenging as it is nowadays, where now, it's more of a direction towards digital. Everything has to be, everything has to be in the palm of your hands now. It's on your phone. So now, a lot of, people out there who are musicians, models, whatever they're doing, it's a lot harder to get their stuff out there because now they have to rely on the digital platform. And the only real, they really only digital platforms that we have available to us to use for that at this time would be stuff like Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and TikTok, things like that. So now we have to use those to try to get our, artists are using those to try to get their stuff out. But it's a lot harder because then they have to fight against the algorithm. And we know how the algorithm goes. It's going to load us with whatever banal shit that's that's relevant at that very moment of time. That's the moment. That's the stuff you're going to see, and you're going to see that stuff shared out. But then when you have artists out there that are just, trying to get their stuff known, they're trying to get their music known, they're trying to get themselves known. And they are just, for all intents and purposes, they're starving artists. So the digital platform is their only livelihood that they have to rely on. So that if anything happens to that, that's it. They're fucked. That's it. That's it for them. Because that's all they have. Now, most people are smart enough. They're going to try to build a platform outside of that. That's where we're going to have a website. Or some other form of other way of getting themselves out there, which is good. It's good. You're going to need to have that backup now because something happens to your Facebook page, something happens to your Instagram, you're fucked. You're losing all that work. And I don't know about you, but, I don't want all that, I don't want that, I put, for me, I put a lot of work into what I do. So I don't want that just to be, shot out the window. That's why I have a website because, all that can exist on a website and I can have backups. And so that's just the way you have to do it now. You have to back that shit up because literally back that shit up. Back that shit up. Back up. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, this is what you have to do because if not, then you're risking losing your livelihood. And if you're putting years into this work, like if you're talking fucking years you're putting into this, you're putting all that on. And if you're putting years of work and not backing that up anywhere, you don't have any of that existing anywhere other than Facebook and Instagram. Okay, guys, this is your message now. If you're not already doing this, okay, all right, let me be your voice of guidance here, okay? If there's any guidance I can give you, okay? If you're years in this game, all right, you already should know. But I'm already telling you, if you're not already doing this, if you are not already doing this, or you're already trying to build a platform, you're trying to build yourself up, you have to use Facebook and Instagram, fine, use that, but make sure you have a backup. Build a website, do whatever the fuck you have to do, save those files, because in this day and age, you don't know what's going to happen. Just one wrong move. That's all it takes. One wrong move. And it doesn't have to be, it could be somebody. It could be like a hater. Somebody fucking hating on you. They want to shut your shit down. You could risk that. You can risk that happening. So you don't want that to happen. So this is your time now. To do that. And I'm gonna see if I can get people in here because we need people in here. Anyhow, so there's that. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna use this interlude as we're calling it. We're gonna talk about they're gonna have these little pop-ups I'm gonna be doing while in between stuff. while I'm waiting on an episode, I'm like, hey, let's do an interlude. Let's talk about shit. I was planning on recording shit anyway. I was like, why not? Goof ups happen. They're going to happen. They'll work themselves out. But I'm still going to use the time that I have today and just tell you guys more about why, what I'm doing, what I've been doing, what I'm going to continue to do. So I guess, okay, we're going to get a history lesson here, and we're going to see. Okay, so yeah, history lesson. So I guess if there was a starting point in all this, I mean, really and truly, I guess it all started as a childhood dream. Like, we all were kids once. We all had those childhood dreams. Like, my dream, like, of course, I wanted to be a rock star. So that was my dream as a kid. I wanted to be a rock star. I had no clue like how that was going to happen, and it was just like a dream. It was like just a kid thing. So, I never really thought of that, of really pursuing that in any sensual form. Like, I always say, like, ever since I was young, like ever since I was at an age where I can like understand and comprehend the music, like I was probably not like probably not well until my teenage years. Like when I first started, that's when music really started becoming like more of a thing in my life. And then I just so I've always been a fan of music my whole life, and I was always like, primary, it was like heavy metal was my thing. That was at that time. I was really, rock, heavy metal, stuff like that. I mean, it still am. That has not changed. It just evolved. It definitely has evolved. My taste has evolved a lot since. We'll talk about that later. But yeah. So there was that. And then another thing that existed since I was a young kid that I always had a passion for, it was horror. I was always into horror movies. Like my first formative horror movie that I remember watching, my very, very first one. I would have to be, the one that I remember was Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it was part 3. The one with when Freddy turns into the worm, whatever. I'm not even going to fact check that right now. You guys can fact check me later. Go ahead. I don't care, but I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was that movie that I first watched. I was like, well, how old was I at that point? I was like, what, 8, 9, somewhere around that age when I first saw that movie. And yeah, let's just say I got as far as the first scenes and had to turn that shit off because, yeah, I couldn't handle that as a kid back at that point. And then right after that, it was Gremlins, and then that stuck with me. Gremlins stuck with me. Sorry to say, but yeah, Gremlins definitely stuck with me. That's been my stickler. But even that, like, even as a kid, like, again, I was still, like, I think at that point, still young. I was, like, barely 10 years old when I first watched Gremlins. And so that scene when Gizmo gets wet and he starts multiplying, like, that was, for me as a kid, that was scary. Like, I couldn't even watch that. Like, I was, like, literally, like, I was, like, running out, like, hiding my eyes. I couldn't watch that shit. Yeah. Oh, boy. Those were the days when that type of stuff was enough to scare me. Oh boy. But yeah, so those were the two ones that stuck with me. That still to this day, music and horror were my main 2 passions. But I never dreamed where that would go. I never dreamed of like what it would do, like where it would lead me. Yeah, I didn't I didn't find that out until much later in life. Much later. So yeah. How did this all happen? How did I get to where I am now? It just kind of just happened. Yeah. So it was like 2017. He moved is when I first moved to Pittsburgh. I at that point in life I needed a change. I needed to get away from things. I needed to get away from what I was dealing with. So I moved to Pittsburgh, and for a whole year, I didn't really do much of anything the whole year. It wasn't until like late 2018. I remember the day. I specifically remember the day it started. It didn't quite start that day, but it was what led to everything else that happened. So it was a mushroom head contest it was a mushroom head concert that I went to back in late 2018. I remember it was in the summer of 2018 when I went to this concert. So, and then I think it was kind of like from that, somehow, some way, like I got linked into other people. So that's where I first got brought into I got brought into a company that existed I guess it still exists. It's just not active anymore. But it was a company called Brutal Business Entertainment. And I started getting to know some of the people there. One of the very first people that I can remember, meeting there was there's actually two of them that I am going to give all the due credit to, that they, other ones, but, well, actually, I mean, let's first, the two people that I'm just going to say off the top of my head would have to be, there's, at the time they were calling themselves Crazy Kitty. And there was also one called Demo Demon. Those two are still my best friends to this very day. I still work with these people to this very first day. I will have these people's back to this very day, since day one. And we, they have my back too. So they're the ones, who are like, they got me introduced to Brutal Business, and I met the owner at the time. He calls himself Skippy Ickham. You might see him. He's just a myth at this point, as to when he'll show up. You may never see him again, but the myth is real. The myth of Skippy Ickham, I can tell you, is real. This guy, he, at that time, I was a writer. I've always been a writer, and because of what I was going through, like, I was having a hard time if I wanted even to write again, and what I even wanted that to look like. So, when we were talking, I told him about, oh, yeah, I'm into horror movies, I'm into music. I told him all the things I was into. So he already knew that, I was into horror movies. So, it was like late 2019, almost like early 2020. He comes to me and he's like, I got this thing I've been doing. It's called a Gruesome Gazette. It's meant to be for horror movie reviews. I started this but I just don't have the time for it anymore. I have a busy schedule. He had other things he was doing. But he needed somebody who would want to take it over. He didn't want the idea to die, and he wanted the idea to live on. But he just needed somebody else who could take charge of that. So he was like, hey, I got this thing. Would you be interested in, doing something with it? And I was like, okay, well, all right. I'm already watching horror movies. Like, maybe this could give me a chance to actually talk about what I watch and actually tell people like how I feel about these things, about the movies I'm watching, and just give like my honest opinion of what they're about. So I thought about it. I was like, sure. And then we tried to get a team together. We did try to get a team. Out of everybody else that he and Skippy had like maybe one other, he had a couple people that he already had in mind, but there's one other person he had in mind. This person stuck. Okay. He's like, I got this guy Mike. He goes by he's a rapper. He goes by name Mike Cleopatra. And he's like, this dude I think could be good. Could be a good fit. So we talked and we're like, hey, let's make this happen. I pretty much had an idea of like what I wanted to do with the group. At first, it didn't take long for us to get it started. Once I got an idea of what I wanted it to be at that time. I'm going to say at that time because it has evolved a lot since then. But at very basics, we were going to review any kind of horror movie. Like there was no limit to what we wanted to talk about. I had, and then there was these themes. Like I had these themes that I was doing before. Like every Halloween, like I would have like these theme days. Like for example, like Mondays would be, Horrible Musical Monday or something like that. Tuesday was Terrifying Theatrical Tuesday. Wednesday was, it was just Weird Words Wednesday. I would just write weird shit. Thursday was for the, Twisted Throwback Thursday. Friday, when I was doing Halloween things at that time, it was like Flashback Friday. But then, we brought that in, but then I brought that into two groups. I already had that idea and I brought that into two groups in the Gazette. And then it changed. So Mondays were still going to be for music things. We called it Musical Mondays. Tuesday there was for Terrifying Theatrical Tuesday. So Tuesdays are more so for the modern releases. Anything, recent, maybe 2020s, anywhere around that range. Any recent releases. That's what Terrifying, Theatrical Tuesday is about. Weirdo Wednesday, self-explanatory. It's weird shit. You're gonna see modern releases. You're gonna see some weird shit. So that's Weirdo Wednesday for you. That's Mike who does that. I do the Terrifying Tuesdays. Mondays we switch back and forth. Thursday, Twisted Throwback Thursdays. So that's for the throwbacks, like anything like at this point, 2010 and earlier. I've also, now I'm going to be using it for retrospectives. So like say if I want to cover a series and I just got done covering the whole Tremor series. If you want to see that, that's on there. So that's what the Twisted Throwback Thursdays are. We have two different Fridays. We have the Foreign Fridays. That's Mike doing those. So those are the foreign horror films. And then he has the he's doing something for Flashback Friday or something like that. But he's gonna covering the classic Friday, the classic horror movies on Fridays. And Fridays I can guarantee you, when he does those articles, that's when you're gonna see the more fucked up shit. Like if you want to see some shit, yeah, come on Friday. You're gonna see some shit. But we pretty much do that mostly consistently every week. There might be days we miss. Hey, we're human. We're not gonna miss. We're not gonna be like every week. You're not gonna. There might be days we miss. We're human, but for the most part, we just keep that going. So that's where we started out as, and it was just me and Mike, and we had one other person, but they didn't last. They were not good. So then at the then it's just pretty much like ever since. I think we're just gonna keep it that way. Just might as well. I mean, hey, if we can get a secretary, that'd be fine. And we need somebody else to help keep our shit together, because we're trying to do our best, sir. But we need somebody to help keep our shit together. But we're gonna see. I mean, maybe not. If not, then we're just gonna keep doing as we did. I mean, somehow I'm keeping all this shit together. Don't ask me how, but I'm somehow doing it. So that has to be me. I can do it. I have no qualms in doing it. But I would love help. So if you'd like to help, hi, come to me. I will accept help. Thank you. Thank you in advance if you would like to be our, be our secretary and just help keep our website together, keep our articles going, just keep stuff shared out. That's what we're looking for at this time. So if you're interested, hit me up, please. I'm more than interested at this point in time. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so there's that. So that's where that started, and it was like that for a couple of years. Now we were under Brutal Business for the first year or so. We were under them. So, our website, we existed on their website at that time. But then after pandemic hits, that's when Brittle Business changed. So Brittle Business changed ownerships first of all. Another good dude, I will say. Patrick. He has a couple bands out there. The one he's doing mostly is one called Seath. It's like trap metal, weird shit. Check that shit out. He also has a metal band out there that he's doing. And hold on, I will remember the name. I should know this name, but it's escaping. Nine Stitch Method. That's his other band he does. Another good dude. But he took ownership for a bit. But then I think he realized that he was doing his other things too, and he just got to the point he just couldn't do it anymore. So he had to graciously give the reins back. And then promptly after that, the company itself, as a physical in its physical form, shut down. The websites shut down, everything else. So here we were, and so I had an ounce, because in the midst of me doing my Gruesome Gazette things, my boy Demo is like, hey, there's this company out there called First Angel Media. They need a writer. You want to be a writer and do music things? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a go. I wasn't sure where I would go with it. I was like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. I don't know. I didn't have nothing else better to do, so I was like, yeah, might as well see where I can go with it. So that's where I linked up with another good person. You know what? Fuck the noise. I'm just gonna put, fuck what everybody else tells you. Listen to what I'm telling you, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you right now. This is based on my experience, okay? All right. We're gonna get into all that shit, but I'm just gonna say, just for most part, well, I can't even say that. No, I'm not gonna say that. Another good person I found goes by the name of Yana. So she brought me into First Angel Media, and she was, at the time we had a writer team. So, and then she charged me with something called Find Your Muse. Right away, like, once she told me what that was about, I was like, oh, okay, I fuck with this. I can fuck with this. Find your muse. Muse. Music unites souls everywhere. That's what that stands for. And that's fucking true. So that's what I did. And I kind of put my own little darker spin on it, I guess. Because, yeah, I was pretty much covering, like, anything that people would give me to cover, but for the most part I was actually actively looking for I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my own little dark little spin on this, and yeah, it got very gothic on there. I can't lie, it got dark, but it went well. I mean, people are starting to really, when I was first putting my stuff out there, like, it took me a while to find my voice with it. But once I did, and people were starting to people were like, oh, well, and people were telling me, like, oh, I was getting props. People were thanking me for what I was writing. Always made sure we shared that shit out, so people would see it. They would appreciate that. Share out their works, follow and like their pages, and doing all the 9 yards, just making sure that, whatever it was that, I was covering at the time, whatever song, like, people knew, not only about the song, but they knew about the band and about their music, and, made sure all that shit got out there, So I started, I was starting to do that. And that's where it all, let's just say, the cart went off the horse after that one. Cart went off the horse, because, man, I can't even begin to tell you where that all. I mean, I'll start to tell you. I guess I'll tell you, because where that led me, this is all relevant to where I'm at right now, because it all started from there. I started building my web, so to speak. I was a spider. I totally used my spider tendencies, and I built a fucking whole ass web. I started linking to everything. Whatever I can get my hands into pie, my hands were in the pie. And I just did that more and more and more and more. And then it became to a point where I was like having actual conversations with these people. And then, widely enough, then I'm like becoming friends. These people are out here like creating this awesome shit that I love. I love this fucking shit. And these people are out there just fucking creating it. And then these people, I'm getting to talk to these people, and then these people are my friends, and they want to actually be my friend. Like, that was wild to me when that first started happening, like when it first started clicking in, because like I first, that's when I was starting to realize, like, okay, I'm not just a fan anymore. They're not seeing me as just a fan anymore. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure that still exists in some shape or form, but it was becoming more than that. Like they were like I was being seen as an actual person. Like I actually really I existed as a person to these people, and it was like really wild to me. Like and so Sarah, there was. I was doing my gruesome Gazette thing, and I was part of First Angel Media. And then during the pandemic, when Brutal Business folded, Gruesome Gazette needed a new home. I didn't have all the tools I needed at that time to do what I wanted to do. So, First Angel Media picked us up. And we were part of First Angel Media for a couple of years. So everything was like all in one house at one point. There was my there was Gruesome Gazette. I was doing that stuff on my own, but I was still part of a company. So everything was all in one home. But then, so the pandemic happened. Gruesome Gazette was became First Angel Media. They gave us a website for our stuff. And then shortly after that, they promoted me to head writer. Well, there's a reason for that. The reason why I was promoted to head writer is because, for the most part, there was a few people who were doing it, but I was the only one writing. I was the only one putting content out there. I was the only one doing it. And then again, but I can't blame. I'm not saying that's anybody else's fault. They had busy lives. I didn't have a busy life. This was my life, doing this stuff, because I had nothing else going on at that. I had nothing else going for me. So there was that. So yeah, and it wasn't for lack of trying, but I had the same struggles when I was, the same struggles I had with building a team of Gruesome Gazette, with building a team of writers. I was running into that same issue with First Angel Media. Well, I was trying to get, a team of writers together, try to get, and trying to get other people to do stuff other than just me. I want other people to have this, the experiences that I was doing. I didn't want to hog up all the spotlight. Okay. That was not what I wanted. I did not want to do that. I didn't want to hog up all the spotlight. I want other people to get the spotlight too. So I was doing my darnest to get people on that track. But yeah, just never could make it happen. And then it got bad. It got bad. There was drama left and right. Nothing but drama. And trying to bring me into the drama. I wanted nothing to do with it, but trying to bring me into it. So summer of 2023, was it summer of 2023? Somewhere around there. Is so me and a group in First Angel Media, we decided to take a road trip. And we're going to a place called Lovecraft's Brewing Company, all the way in Mechanicsburg. It's like a 4-hour drive. So we're all piled in this car. We're driving out there. We had one mission, though, because at that time, they were telling me I needed to do interviews. And I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a go. I had no freaking clue what I was doing. I had never done an interview with anybody in my entire life. I've never done an interview in my entire life at that point of time. So there's that pressure. Talk about that pressure. Okay, they were like, hey, you got to do this interview. Like, okay, I'm sure, I'm game. All right. But here's the funny part. The person I'm interviewing, well, the person they want me to interview at that time, love their music. Still to this day. And so this is my very first time seeing this person live in my face for the very first time, okay? All right, so they're there, like right in front of my face, okay? And then then I have to interview them. Yeah. I mean, interview for my very, very, very first interview that it didn't. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but I mean, it went well. Now at that, it was a interview. I'm pretty sure I got the audio here somewhere. If I ever wanted to bring it up and share it with you guys, if I ever, I would have to get their permission first. So my very first interview in my entire life that I ever done was with Nero Bellum of Cyclone 9. That was my very, very first interview. We got to, he gave me okay to do it. We did it. I just thought of things to ask at that time. We talked about the tour. We talked about the music. We just talked about, we talked about what I thought was relevant at that time. Yeah, like I said, it went good. I'm sure if you go to the First Angel Media page, it still exists somewhere. Like I typed up a whole article about that. So if you look on First Angel Media, look up Cyclone 9. If they have a way to search some articles, then you'll see that on there. That interview still exists. I still got the audios somewhere in my files. So yeah, there was that experience. So that was that. Then the very next day, there was this place called the Dark Parlor that was in existence at that time. So we went. It was like a oddity witchy shop, like my alley. So we went to go. We went to visit there, and while we were there, we were like, "Hey, you should talk to this person." Sure. So we talked, and that interview was actually, you can, that video is, what? Do we have time? Can I do this? Can we do this? I'm gonna do this. Okay, give me a moment, guys, because I just want you guys to get an idea. I can give you. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me see. Okay. Give me a moment, guys. Okay, here we go. There we go. Hold on. Okay, hold on. We're going to do this here. Oh, I'm so excited to do this. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I can share the audio with you. Okay. All right. You should be seeing this. I'm going to make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay. Give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can share the audio with you. Okay. All right. You should be seeing this. I'm going to make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay. Give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can share the audio with you. Okay. Alright. You should be seeing this. I'm gonna make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay. Is anybody seeing this? Can you tell me? Okay. Give me a moment. Okay. Oh, I can share the audio with you. Okay. All right. Anybody seen this? Okay. Let me. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Now we should be good. All right. I'm going to give it time to load here. Okay. All right, here we go. You ready for this? Oh, that's my boy Mad Clock. Drops it next fall.
Hello, thanks for talking with us today.
So nervous.
The first question that I had is what went into creating the dark parlor? What was the idea behind that?
So I grew up in the world of antiques. My parents were very, very creative, and they also liked a lot of the spooky stuff. Watched a lot of horror movies, read a lot of horror novels.
Nice.
So just moving forward, like I was also into a lot of art. And after my father passed away, I wanted to create a space that would have been enjoyable for me in my youth. Some place that had a lot of history, a lot of art, but all on the spookier side. So after I finished up a season with Spirit Halloween, and this guy was working with me, I hired him there. That's when I decided to move forward and create this space.
Yeah.
And thankfully I have a lot of people that I know, and this happened to just become available, this particular location, and being here in Royal Square District is really cool because it's an arts district. So it just built from there. I wanted to have a shop that would be a definite experience. So you walk through and you get a feel for, whether it's the human condition room, complete with all the humans, or in here with natural history, or funerary embalming. So it's like your life and nature, and then what happens after you die, and how that history has come forward. And then upstairs, then it just turns into magic and art.
And clowns.
At this point, I was just finding out.
Pretty much how it all started.
I was in the era of finding out.
Combining all those different elements of my life, and then trying to create a cool spot for everybody to come and experience.
I'm glad I got the experience.
So speaking of which, so what events do you have here?
Fuck that.
And how can people attend such events?
We have all sorts of things that happen here, whether it's various divination. We have tarot reading, we have tea leaf readings, smoke readings, all sorts of divination, and that's usually you pay the diviner. So we do those. We have live rituals. We have art making nights up in the gallery where we bring in a DJ and you can just kind of vibe out and show with us and create art with us, and then it goes up on the walls. What else do we do?
Concerts?
We have live music, whether it's an acoustic act or we have a shared courtyard, so we have lots of things happen out there as well.
We've done seances before.
We have seances, and then we have our big event, which is called Fang Around, and that's a seasonal event. Our next one's coming up October 1st. It's Saturday. And Fang Around is a free gathering for alternative types, all ages. It's a full day event full of music, vendors, educational panels. We like to continue to push that educational aspect. So for this one, we'll have the history of Samhain and Halloween and all of that involved. So it's a really cool experience. And the big thing is, with having it free to Fang Around, anybody can walk in. And it might not be your usual cup of tea, but you can learn something new and meet some new friends. Yeah. Or if it is your cup of tea.
A gathering of definitely my cup of tea.
Right, exactly. So I know there's for me, I have anxiety issues and I get nervous, and when I'm outside of this element, definite introvert, and I have a hard time making new connections and finding new friends. So Fang Around is the perfect spot where you can meet new people and feel comfortable doing so. There's no judgment, so you don't have to worry about the way that you look.
And honestly, it's a blast every time. It's a party. So
yeah, this next one's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have lots of bands, DJs, maybe some animals running around. Maybe tarantulas.
Ooh, that'd be
We've had bats, we've had
vulture.
A vulture. So we had Baron von Vulture for our last one for Witches Night, which was really, really cool.
But again, hearses.
Yes, we have horses. We started to bring in motorcycles for display as well. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. Cool. Yeah, so you can hang around and find out. Yes.
So, yeah. We're not going to share much of that, but so that was that, so that was, it was a pretty cool interview. I got, it was a pretty cool place I got to check out. Definitely loved the clown room. I would live there. I actually purchased something from the clown room. It was a Joker item because they had a lot of Joker stuff. Of course, Joker. But yeah. So yeah. Got to have that cool experience, and then it just snowballed from there. Once I started getting myself more comfortable, then I was like, okay, I actually started talking to bands more. When I would go out to shows, you might see me, there and dancing or doing whatever, but I really don't talk much to the bands. I'm just like, I might wave hi and leave it at that. But then when I started doing, after I started doing interviews and actually talking to these people more, I started actually talking, interacting with the bands more, getting photos with them, and just, then I started networking myself, and that's where First Angel Media taught me on how to do that, on how to network myself, and a lot of it was just need to talk to people and tell them what you're doing. And half the time they're like, yeah, sign me to fuck up. Or they'll be like, hey, we need this. Can you do this? I'm like, yeah, sign me to fuck up. Like, it's, usually we talk about it, we can make it happen. If it's something I feel that, it's going to be on brand, and if it feels it's going to fit the, what I'm going for, what I want to get out there, then yeah, we're going to make it happen. Then it's going to happen. So there's that. And then not shortly after that, I got my second interview that I'd done. And this one was huge for me. Like, I'm talking big. But yeah, at that time I was not even remotely ready for what was going to be happening. So again, this time it was just two of us this time. The whole team couldn't make it, so two of us could make it. They only needed one person to get there, which was me. That's all I needed, was just me to get there. I didn't really need anybody else, but other than just to get me there. That's all I needed. Get me to the place I needed to be, do the rest. And that's essentially what happened is, so my next interview happened to be with another band that I, this guy working in the same circles, or doing the same thing, just different paths. But Dawn of Ashes was another huge band. I'd been a fan of them since 2006, maybe long, around that time is when I first started, 2009 maybe. Yeah, no, 2009. I want to say more so is more accurate. But then I've been a fan of their music for years. I've always wanted to see them live. So they came to Mechanicsburg in summer of, that was like 23, 24, somewhere in there. Right? Like right after, it wasn't too long after Cyclone 9. That I got to go see Dawn of Ashes live in Mechanicsburg in the same venue, Lovecraft's. Pretty cool venue, by the way. I will definitely say, it was definitely on par for me, because I'm all about Cthulhu, and it had a huge Cthulhu moral. Inside was all Lovecraftian, and all so it was definitely my vibe. The venue was my vibe. But yeah, so this is my very first time seeing this band live. And again, this person that I'm a fan of, and then they're just live right in my face. I'm getting to talk to them. I get that, and I did an interview with them, and again, I think it went well. For what it was, it went well. And that interview, I still got the audios of. And you can also look on the First Angel Media page, and I'm sure if you can search for it, then you'll search for Dawn of Ashes, you'll find it. So I got to do that interview with him. And oddly enough, we're friends to this day. I'm friends with this guy. In fact, today, I was going to get my chance to have a redo, do the interview right, do it the way I wanted it to, but I goofed up on time zones. But that's okay. It's gonna be happening again. He was gracious enough to, in fact, before I forget, let me thank him. Because, we had a little goof up today, like time zones. I think that happens. This is why I need a secretary. Because time zones got me. I was thinking, he's overseas right now. So right now it's late. Well, by we were saying 10 o'clock, but he was meaning 10 o'clock his time, which would have been like more like my time, like 4 or 5. That's okay. That stuff happens, I'm sure. But we got, he was gracious enough to reschedule. We're going to do it on Sunday instead. So that's the plan right now. I'm going to get to talk to this guy again. We're going to talk about his album. He got a new album out. We're going to talk about his music. We're going to do this interview right, the way I wanted it to happen. A more confident me. So yeah. So we had that experience where I got to interview him. There was other bands I wanted to do. Let me see. One of my other favorite interviews that I got to do was this one. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to play this. You know what? Okay. It's one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done to this point. If I can get to this level again, I want to do that. Okay. All right. I'm Anthony from First Angel Media. I'm here with Alice. Performing for us tonight. Should be a spectacular show. So first of all,
as you can see,
I want to tell our viewers.
As you can see,
Maybe it's because I'm with my people, but I'm more relaxed. It's more free flowing. It's not if.
I don't know what else to say.
We are about community building. We're about outreach. We have many artists of various sorts who collaborate with many different artists, many different projects. Doing videos and music and live shows and so forth. So we love playing music. And we love connecting communities and scenes because there's so many wonderful people out there who all want to just have a good time. And it's really important for us to be able to, hey, you over there, you should meet this person over here. More of that, please.
Connecting. It's all about connections.
Absolutely. Find kindred spirits.
So you guys been on tour for quite a bit now. How's it been performing live for the fans again?
Amazing. It's really cool because this particular, we're playing cities that we've never played. Mm-hmm. Like we played Charlotte, North Carolina this past Friday. It was our first time there, and the community there was so loving, so kind. So they were actually singing happy birthday to me. And, yeah, and there were people that we had never met. This tour, we've also been playing cities that we have played before. So we've played Pittsburgh before, we played DC, and it's just wonderful to see familiar faces and see our family and friends as well. So this is where I'm from.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Any moments that you can talk about while on tour?
So many.
Positive moments. The birthday show is a good example. I don't think we didn't tell anyone about her birthday, Tasha's birthday, and we were just playing. It was like close to our last song, and all of a sudden I see people wearing like all the party hats, and then they're like happy birthday, and it was just the sweet.
So, any future projects that you guys are working on? Anything coming up that you guys can talk about?
Well, we are currently touring on a double album. First half, which is As Above, and the second half is going to be So Below. And we just finished our first single on time. We did a music video and single right when the tour launched. And so we're going to be finishing off the second half of that.
I missed that venue. This was at Black Forge, by the way, when Black Forge still existed in McKee Rocks.
Yeah, and we also have a few different projects
under
the Alice Project umbrella.
That's it.
Yeah, we have. We've been sitting on a trove of material that we've been performing for a while, and we haven't recorded it yet. So it just feels like all the recordings. People are like, "Do you have a recording of that?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me look at you. Maybe we played it live." You know? So yeah, we're really excited to lay that down.
And lastly, where can fans find you?
Well, they can find us tonight.
Yeah.
Black Forge Coffee House.
But yeah, online is a great place. We've got ilikealice.com, which is our website, but really we've got a bunch of online communities in a lot of different places. We've got a Discord server called the Mad Hatter Army. So if you go, if you want to be a part of it's basically our it's a fan club. It's sort of a the lightweight version of what I could call it, but it's really just a full-on community of people that not only enjoy our music but share common interests, similar styles of music. There's a huge community, so it's the Mad Hatter Army. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all socials.
Spotify.
Yeah.
And when searching for us online, look for AL1C.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard
I
time.
love
Yeah.
I mean, Alice Cooper's he's a great guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, I thank you guys for taking time to talk with me, and good luck on your performance for tonight.
There's that. There was that. Hallway. I should not. So that was that one. I will say it was my best interview I've had so far. As you can see, it was more I was more relaxed, more free flowing. It just went good. But then you have those I definitely had an interview. That was my best interview. Now let's talk about my most unhinged interview that I've ever had. Which I would love to have this is probably something I'll be too, where if I can have, if I can just have funny, unplanned, funny, unhinged moments, I would do that. If from this going, all right, hold on. Let me show you my most unhinged interview. I'm just going to show you little bits of it. It's a very long interview because it just went forever just how it went. But all right, so
social media, and I'm here with
the other venue that I missed. We're in the men's bathroom.
Who's joining us?
No, we're in the women's
and dicks. Got all kinds of dicks.
And we had all kinds of dicks.
All right.
As you can see,
I
it's already
think
going
the
on.
biggest question in my brain is what brought God Hates Unicorns about? What came into the name?
Sorry.
What do you want?
We'll be quick. Joshua.
Yes.
What was the name?
Oh, it was about some Christian bullshit that was in Kentucky. That was
The
creation museum.
Oh, we know the Creation Museum.
Yeah, you were there, Char. It was there's dinosaurs and cavemen and all this weird shit. And there's a T-Rex eating a pineapple, animatronic style.
Okay.
And
that was real.
It was definitely real. The Earth is 10,000 years old.
2001 now.
2001 now.
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Rex ate pineapple before Adam committed the first sin, or Eve.
And there were dragons.
And there were dragons, but one thing I noticed though, there was no unicorns.
What's going on in here?
And the shore is here.
As you can see, now we just get more and more people in this bathroom.
So there was
now
no unicorns.
we're all sitting in
I
this
got back to this
bathroom.
15 years ago. I was like, God fucking hates unicorns. And that stuck with me for years until I started this project. And I was like, oh, God hates unicorns.
Nice.
Ta-da!
Brilliant, right?
See, that'll teach God to hate shit.
Yeah, name the band.
So, Pineapple Source Rice. Pineapple Source Rice.
Are you taking a video or a photo?
We're doing
This is a video. This is an interview.
Drunken bathroom interviews.
Wonderful. Yeah. Tim played this whole set blind.
Okay.
Cool.
I love this video.
That is a mystery solved. That is a mystery solved, Anthony.
See, yeah. So yeah, that just got unhinged. I got unhinged, but it was fun to do though. I definitely would love to do more stuff like that if I could. Yeah, if I could do more stuff like that, I would. So yeah, it's just start doing more stuff like that, just talking to people more. Well, so at this time, there's this other bands that really I became like, this is what I'm about. So a band that existed at this time that was called the Destruct Principle. So back on the Cyclone 9 show and again on the Dawn of Ashes show, the Destruct Principle was they were the supporting acts on both shows. But the Destruct Principle, like, there was a time that I saw them way before that. Like, that was like 2019. They were playing at a bar in Lawrenceville. It's closed down now, but they had 3 bands on that show. There was Only Flesh, the Destruct Principle, and then Dead Animal Assembly Plants were the 3 bands. And so that was like my very first, but at that time it didn't really stick with me at that time, but that was my first experience seeing Destruct Principle, at least in that era. But then in when they were performing, I got to meet them in their new era. They were, the greater magical movement is what they were calling that era. So the very first time I saw them, like, they were literally doing like a live ritual on stage, and let's just say it ignited a little fire in me. Their whatever message, whatever magic they were trying to work, it worked on me. Yeah, it did. It certainly did. It worked on me, because that was the day it all changed. That's the day when I started to realize a little bit more that, yeah, I have a lot inside of me that was just waiting to be unleashed, so to speak. So yeah, the plan was, I wanted to bring them on and interview these people, but that never came to pass. I think they're no more, or at least if they are, they don't exist in a form that they were anymore. Which is sad, but that's the way it goes sometimes in the music business. Is sometimes those things happen, and but hey, at least I can say I got to have the experience. I'm happy. I'm proud that I got to have the experience while I was there. I got to take it, And yeah, and part of that of what I got to do, and something that I got, also with my line of work with First Angel Media, is so it was like summer of 22, 23, summer 23, or no, it was like Halloween of 23 or 22, one of those years. It was a Halloween show. But First Angel, we wanted to do a Halloween theme show. So they wanted bands. What do you need for a Halloween show for bands? You need spooky bands. But, that wasn't my call. If I had something to do with it, it would have been more spooky. But I was like, no, we need some kind of spooky element here. We need something, at least related, because the bands they were having at the time, they were egotistical. They wanted everything about them, blah blah blah, whatever, what have you. They want, but they were, they weren't, like, okay, like maybe, but yeah. But so I was like, I know a band. Let's see if we can get them to come in. So I talked, and we talked together. I was like, hey, would you guys want to do this? And they were like, fine. They came out. They did it. We pulled it off. Let's just say Pittsburgh was never the same that day. Let's say our metalhead contingent, our music contingent in Pittsburgh, they definitely got a taste of something a little different. And I was like, for me, that's what my goal was. That's what I wanted to get out of it, out of anything else. If I wanted to accomplish anything else out of everything else, I wanted to inject a little mystery into Pittsburgh. I wanted to show Pittsburgh a face. I wanted to scare Pittsburgh. Maybe just a tad. Just a tad. To scare them. And I think I accomplished that, very much so. I mean, hey, I don't think anybody really understood what the fuck was happening that day. But, but yeah, so there was that. And then, so there was the Struck Principal. They had the side project, which was the Mary Lou's. That was more so, she was, all right, their name is Inky now. But at the time they were going by Razor. But they had their own, so they had the Struck Principal, and then they had the Mary Lou's, and they got to do both on that day. I also got to go to Gettysburg for a horror. I was like, and yeah, when was that? When I went to Gettysburg for that creature feature convention. And it's funny enough. Oh yeah, I didn't get to talk to you guys about the creature feature yet. We didn't even get it. Now we'll talk about that too. But yeah, I went to the creature feature convention in Gettysburg. I was like in 2023, I want to say. And the Mary Lou's were there. I had to support them. I had to support my person. Which they're still a good, Inky. I love her. She's a very good friend to this day. So still talk. We still work together. I might even get her on here one of these days. Hi, Inky. But yeah. So yeah, I got to do that. So there's a lot of adventures I got to have. Yeah, let's jump into the creature feature. I'll talk about that. So, creature feature, I was doing way before I was even doing First Angel Media. Because, when I was starting to go out to things more, primarily, I was the one who knew about things going on. So, to help people out, I did something called Creature Feature Fridays, and I would do all these list different events for people to go to, try to get people to come out to this shit that's happening here. Just get people to see more of the night scene, get people to hear new music, get just have themselves challenged with something new. So. But then, I was doing that stuff. But then, Gruesome Gazette. Then I was doing First Angel Media. And then somebody proposed me the idea is like, well, why don't you bring the creature feature onto, part of what you're doing on Gruesome Gazette, And it first started out with that. And I was doing event list. I was doing those a lot. That was a lot of work. It was a lot of work just composing lists together. Then you have to go on, then you're trying to share this shit on Facebook. And Facebook is a fucking pain in the ass trying to get you to fucking tag things. You're trying to tag bands. I'm trying to figure out every fucking which way to do it. Try to trick the system so I can get these fucking bands tagged. And there's some bands I couldn't fucking figure out how to get fucking tagged. So, but yeah, so I was doing the creature. So that's where the creature feature started out with. It started out as an event list. But then, yeah, there was that summer. It was like summer. Yeah, it was like 2023, early 2024. And I learned you have to be careful who you work with. Like I know, I mean, at this point, I know my people. I know the people I can count on. But yeah, I learned my lesson on who to trust, who to work with. Because I had this person I was working with. We were friends, we were good friends at the time. We were out having adventures. We were doing shit. We were pretty much in the same, we were in the same circles and we loved the same music. We were doing the same shit. Except, the only difference between me and between him, like me, with what I was doing, I was at least being tolerable with what I was doing. He was a little bit extra of what he was doing, with the way he was going about doing things. Like people, I feel like if it was just me myself, I feel people would have felt more at ease if it was just me. But because I had this other person, and let me just tell you, they were toxic as fuck to work with. I mean, I'm sure people felt very uncomfortable just with having him around. It wasn't me. It wasn't me making them uncomfortable. No, that was not me at all. Don't get that twisted. Don't get that fucking twisted, because that wasn't fucking me at all. It had nothing to do with me. That was all on that person. He was kind of like this dark fucking cloud. you know, all right, yeah, I would give all the credit due. Like, you know, he was helpful in ways. Like, he got me places I never really gotten go to, so I'm grateful for that. And we did some cool shit together. But at the same time, like, as a person, this was a person, like, as a whole, like, I had to look at and be like, I don't know how I feel about this person, because like they're like this dark cloud, like they have all this negative diatribe, like that kind of, like, I felt like they were like weighing me down with the way they were going about things, try to drag me into fucking drama. So now, so Inky Razor, you know, we'll just call her Inky because that's who she goes by now. She reaches out to me. This was like back in like 2021, like right after the pandemic. There's this expo called World Oddities Expo. They needed help. She asked if I was interested. She asked if I knew somebody. Now, if I know what I know now, I would have been just like, I'll just do it. I would not have even suggested it to anybody else, but because I'm me and I like to help people and I want to make sure people are getting help and I want to blah, 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 blah. So I was like, I know a person. So I brought this other person in. And, you know, we're working as volunteers, but at the same time, you know, it's a paid job. We got paid very well for what we did. All we had to do is just, you know, help set up, take tickets, tear down. Pretty much that was about it. That's all we needed at that time. But then the other person, you know, starts like, you know, putting it out there. Oh, well, I can do this. We can do this and blah, blah, blah. We can do all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And that was where it was a bad mistake for him to do that. Because when you tell people you can do these things, of course, people are like, okay, I'm going to have you do these things. If it's going to make my job, you know, if it's going to make it so I don't have to lift a fucking finger, don't have to worry about anything, I'm going to have you people do these things for me. So, you know, because he was saying he wanted to do it, he was like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure it happens, and it's going to happen whether it's going to happen. I don't care. It's going to happen. And that's pretty much his attitude. He didn't fucking care. He's going to make it happen either way. So, you know, it just started more stuff that we were being asked to do. You know, so it all came to a head because we were being asked, you know, it wasn't, you know, it's, you know, I was being dragged into it just because I was there with him, but you know, they're asking this guy, hey, we need you to go get this truck because we're too fucked up. You know, we can't figure out logistics on our own. So I'm taking my shirt off. I don't fucking care. So we're going to get you bitch boys to get this truck for us because we can't even be bothered And our whole entire show hinges on this so you need to figure out how to get this fucking truck. So that was pretty much we're told, you know, you need to get this fucking truck. I don't care how you fucking get it. Our whole fucking livelihood of the show, you know, you have to get this truck. I don't give a fuck. So no, it wasn't so bad because, you know, we went to Ohio for a show. Now, I had nothing to do with that. That was all on him. He had to go get the truck. I think it was like in Philadelphia or something like that, but he had to go get that truck. So that was all on him at that point. You know, I stayed behind and did what I did. But then when it came to second year for 2024, first Pittsburgh show. Guess fucking what? They need to get a fucking truck. And it's all the way in fucking Philadelphia.
So they're asking my buddy, hey, we need you to get this truck. Only one fucking problem with that. My buddy at the time wrecked his car. I think he hit a deer or something, but he had no car. So I had a car. So he's like, hey, I need to get this truck. We need to make a trip out to Philadelphia. 6-hour drive. It's a 6-hour drive, mind you. 6-hour drive to fucking Philadelphia. And because I didn't know how to say no at the time, I was like, sure, I guess we'll do it. And I was like, we'll fucking figure something out. But then stuff started escalating. He was having a lot of issues in his life, a lot of drama. He was bringing a lot of drama onto me, bringing drama onto my friends, just being this miserable fucking asshole. He didn't want to fucking help himself. He just wanted to be a miserable fucking asshole, drag everybody down with him. So I'm seeing this, and I'm like, 6-hour drive to Philadelphia. We're going to be in a car together. Not only that, but I'm going to have to drive by myself. 6 hours, because he's going to have to drive the truck. Okay, I'm going to have to get my car and drive it back. At some point. That's 6 hours by myself. I wasn't fucking doing that. Fuck no. I wasn't gonna do 6 hours in a fucking car with a miserable fucking asshole. No. It would have been either him killing me or me killing him. There would have been blood at some point. There's no way we were going to survive that trip. I fucking knew that shit. So, at some point, I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to you. I was like, I'm going to talk to the owner. Be like, this is how I don't know what's going on. But I was like, I'll talk to the owner. I'm like, hey, I'm not filming this. I can't do this. And he's like, okay, well, I mean, it was just, the timing could have been better, but it was just for me, like, because this was like the day before. So at least I was giving him some type of notice. It wasn't like last minute, but, so I wasn't, this wasn't like last minute, but I mean, they still had time. They could have found something, I'm sure, if they tried hard enough. So I told him that. My buddy, he reams me out like, how can you fucking do this to me? You made me lose my I need my fucking money, man. Fuck you. Fuck me out money, man. Fuck me. You just fucking blasted me out the fucking wazoo. So at that point, I was like, enough is enough. I fucking had it. Because this was years of dealing with this guy's bullshit. I'm talking like 2 or 3 years I dealt with this fucking bullshit and dragging my friends into it, dragging me into shit that I didn't really want to have to be fucking dealing with. I had no fucking beef with anybody other than him. He was the only one I was having fucking beef with. Everybody else I was fine with. I had no problems with nobody. It's whatever to me. Whatever personal issues people are having with this, that's on them. That's not on me. I have no personal fucking issues. I'm not gonna fucking get myself involved in shit. Why the fuck am I gonna get myself involved in that? That's not my fucking doing. I have nothing to fucking do with that. So I did what I thought I could do. I was like, I have to warn people about this person so I can avoid them having to go through the same shit I did. And people can know what this person's really about. So yeah, I called the fucker out. And then, of course, he does the same thing on me, trying to tear me down, trying to demonize me. Just because I said no to him, he couldn't take no for an answer. He was a whiny fucking bitch. Fucking bitch boy. fucking bitch. You're trying to fucking tear my ass down. And there's a lot of fucking BS I was fucking going around. I fucking knew. Don't. You know why? Because people know me. They know me. So they made me aware of what was happening, what was being said. So, yeah. And then right out, of course, as it always fucking happens, just because I said no, I wasn't feeling this. I mean, but then I was told my services weren't welcome anymore. So after that, I concluded my relationship with Odditorium Expo. They will not get a single fucking dime from me. Fuck you. Fuck you. So it's like stuff like that. It was stuff like that I was dealing with. And I just dealt with it. I just let it fucking happen. I let myself be undervalued. I let myself be undersold. I let people just get away with being like, oh, you can't do this thing for us now? Well, I guess we can't work together anymore just because you can't do one fucking thing that wasn't my fucking responsibility in the fucking first place. That was not my fucking responsibility. You guys can get fucked. That's how I fucking feel. And that's why I'm like, I will never fucking, nope, nah. And, as far as this person goes, like, they can get all the way fucked and keep fucking off and keep fucking off and keep fucking off. Because, yeah. There's a lot of times I can forgive. I'm a forgiving person. I'm a nice person. But that's one thing I won't forgive. And I will never let that happen again. As long as I live, I will never let that happen again. So, I'm going through all that. I'm doing my Gruesome Gazette thing. I'm doing my First Angel thing. And I'm starting to get, too much. Too much is happening. Too much is going on. I'm overextending myself when I shouldn't be. I need to take care of my own needs. I need to take care of I've Gruesome Gazette is my baby. I need to make that, I want to make that grow into what it wants it to be. So yeah, it was like beginning of 2024. I mentally, on good terms, I parted ways with First Angel Mania. They understood where I was coming from because for me, it was a business. It was strictly business. It was nothing personal. But I had to focus on my own thing. And, I'm still going to collaborate with First Angel Media. So we're going to work with them from time to time. I still work with the owner on things. But so then I went through the process of making Gruesome Gazette its own entity. I filed paperwork to get it, officially recognized as a business. It's at this point, it's not recognized as a business. It's making money, but we at least exist as an entity. Built the website. Let me show you guys the website. I'll show you guys the website. a lot of this was taking stuff we had, and I have really had to go like way back, like, and pretty much add things from scratch. But okay, so there's the website. Yeah, so this is the Grooveson Gazette website. We got there's their different sections. Flashback. Right? Oh yeah, we got our top 10 list too that we do from time to time. Usually like around the end of the year. There's the creature feature. As you can see, like it has the podcast on there. It has the articles I've written. So there's that. You know, this links you right to our Facebook or Instagram, which we need to work. We got to get our YouTube on there. I'll work on that on getting YouTube up on there, but oh yeah, this needs taken off because they no longer exist. But yeah, so that's our website that I built that. Okay, and then this is our Facebook page. So mostly everything we do you can find on the Facebook page. That's where it's mostly going to be at. First things first, so it'll be on the Facebook, and then I load it onto I usually get it onto the website from there. So all kinds of content on here you can find. And we just recently launched a YouTube channel. So this is our YouTube channel. Yeah, there you go. So that's where our podcast episodes will be going. We do have past episodes that we have watched. Past episodes that we have recorded, which I'm going to work on eventually getting those up when I get a chance to. But so yeah, pretty much I struck out on my own and started really building this thing. And also me and Mike, we got to meet in person. We actually got to go to a couple conventions together. So I got to show him like the Horror Realm Con. He got to have that experience. We got to experience Living Dead Weekend. We're not going to be able to experience it this year, sadly. But maybe, who knows? We'll find some way of having it happen next year. Who knows? The future's never. So yeah, we got actually got to meet in person. We got to hang out. He's a pretty cool dude. He's my brother. My horror brother from another mother is what I like to call him. So, and then, yeah, last year is when we started doing the podcast. We started the Tells of the Tape podcast. We started out with our buddy Cody. So that's like a collaboration between us and his company called Nexov. That still exists. So we still got that, so that, we started that. And then just recently this year, I started my idea on the auditorium, which was also something that I had a group that I called the auditorium, and it existed in the past, and it was just a group. And this year, I was like, well, this seems like a perfect year to bring that back. But I was like, wait a minute. How can we bring it back? But we can use it for, we can actually use it as more of a platform. And here we are with the podcast. And so, yeah, that's where now is leading to. Now I'm finally at a point that, the Gruesome Gazette, it was always meant as an idea. It was always meant to be a hub for horror. Horror movies, video games, and of course, it goes hand in hand with music. There's a lot of music that is based on horror movies and things of that nature. There could be, there's definitely, bands out there that are, spooky. There's just a lot of stuff out there. I know a lot, and with all the circles that I've become a part of, just by simply going out to these things and just doing things, and then that's just when the magic happens. I can't say it any other way. It's just it's just magic happens. I go out, I get to a thing, and you never know what's going to happen. I don't even know at that time. I'm just there, and I just go with it, whatever happens. And, I'm there supporting, and it's just second nature to me. But these people, they're, they see that, and they're like, they're happy to see me, because they know, like, when I go out, I'm not just going to just stand there and be like, I'm not going to stand there and be like, I'm too good for you. I'm not going to do that. No, that's not me. That's never been me. I'm moving around. I'm talking to people. I'm having conversations. I'll talk to bands. There's all these different people I know that are doing shit that I'm really good friends with. Not just, and I'm not just saying locally. Like, this is even extending beyond locally. There's people that I know that they're just doing these things, and I get to support these people, and I get to be friends with these people. They see me as a person, and, they treat me well. Let's just say that I get treated well. And that's where, what? That's why I say, like, yeah, maybe I could be making money off of this. I could be, getting getting an actual income out of this. But for me, I never really felt that's the direction I wanted to go. Like, I didn't want it to be with money, because as soon as you get something involved with money, then it just becomes it becomes not enjoyable anymore. You don't enjoy it, because now you're like, I got to think about, how much money am I going to make today? How much stuff can I get out? Like, are people actually going to want these services? Are they going to pay for these services? And you got, what's my bottom line going to look like? And it's just like all this. It's like, and I'm like, no, I'd rather just not have all that. My compensation that I get from it is just the love that I get and the support that I get from you guys, just for doing it. And that's all I need. Hey, if if what I'm doing one click from one other person, then hey, my job is done. If you are having a show and nobody else is moving, but you have me moving and I'm being rowdy and all that, and I'm the only one doing that, then hey, if that makes your day, then if that means something to you, then that's my compensation that I get from doing all this. I wouldn't be doing this. I don't have to be doing this, but I'm doing it because I know it makes a difference. And that's really, that's what I'm about. That's what I've always been about. I'm not going to do what's normal. I'm going to be different. And I definitely apply that to my work. My reviews that I do are pretty much me. I'm coming out as me. But I like to make it more positive. Because and I don't see the point in gatekeeping. Like, why gatekeep? People like what they like. So what? That doesn't make them. We get so down on our people because they like a certain form of music, or because they like this music but they don't dress a certain way. It's just like that happens. It's like, come on, just let people like what they like. Doesn't have to be all the same. We don't all have to like the same things. We can respect other people for what they like. Me, I have a variety of things I like. There are different things I'm involved in. I love being involved in these things. I'm gonna be doing it more and more. I can't say what I'll be doing, but you best believe if I'm whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna be doing it well. You best believe that. You best believe I'm gonna be crushing that shit, because that's just how I do. I'm not satisfied with just doing the bare minimum. I can't be satisfied with just that. No, I want to be doing more than just that. I'm always going to go above and beyond, because that's just how I do. It's how I love to be. It's how I want to be. And now things are starting to come together. It's all starting to come together, as they say. We're gonna think, next week you're gonna see a lot more. You're gonna see a lot more of me. So here's tentatively what I got scheduled so far. Sunday is the interview with Christoph. So it's going to be... All right, gotta do the time factor here, because it was I want to say what time. It would have been 4 o'clock his time. So probably 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. Tentatively. Well, I'll let you guys know for sure on the day of. So that's what I got coming up. Friday the 13th. Come on. You don't think I didn't have something planned for Friday the 13th? Knowing me.
Well, it didn't turn out this way, but it's turning out this way. Yeah. I got a little something special planned. So, yeah, I got things coming. But I just wanted to take this time to, for you guys to realize just exactly, because a lot of you guys don't know. You guys just see me out there. And I know I'm not the best to talk about what I do. I should do that more. And I'm probably going to start doing it more. But yeah, as it turns out, like I said earlier, in a way, I'm like a local celebrity, but I just don't take the credit. I just don't credit myself as a local celebrity. Because I'm everywhere. You'd be hard pressed to find a place where I don't know a person. Because 9 times out of 10, I go somewhere, I know a person. No, it never fails. No matter what I'm doing, like I'm gonna meet somebody I know. Still to this day, I keep an eye out on what my people are doing. I'm still like, I'll push stuff out there. And pretty soon here, I'm going to get back into doing my music articles again. Those kind of had to take a little bit of a hiatus because I had so much other stuff going on. It got to a point like, I was doing my horror reviews, and even that was getting too much on me. But it's all better now, so things are going to be more consistent now. At least that's the goal. Still going to get myself out there. You're going to still see me doing things. I'm going to be doing more interviews. We're going to still have like stuff like this where I just get to talk to you guys. And maybe we can interact more. Maybe we can actually interact more. Because I would love that if you guys want to chat, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am an open book. I will answer any question you have for me. If there's any questions you have, if there's things you have ideas on you want to work on, let me know. If I can make room for it, I'm going to make room for it. I don't know what this summer is going to look like, just to be honest with you guys. I'm going to have to get a schedule together because I don't know what this summer is going to look like. I'm going to get busy, so just be aware of that. But still, yeah, if you have an idea and you want to work with me on, let me know. If we can make it happen, we'll make it happen. At this point, there's no limit. Hey, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. I'll at least try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At least I can say I tried. Better than not doing it, and just sitting on it and nothing ever happening with it. So yeah, no idea is too big or too small. If you guys want to come on a podcast and just talk, I know a lot of you guys. I've already know. I'll be hitting you guys up as I go on because to have a face-to-face talk with you guys, but because distance, time zones, just stuff like that just gets in the way of that. But that's what this platform is going to be for now. I can get to talk to you guys face to face, and I can see your faces, which will be cool. So yeah, just talk to me. Hey,
if I can't do it, I know I am pretty 90% sure I know a person who will, who may be able to help you out. Even if I can't, I'll do what I can to try to find you somebody. Because I mean, I know I'm going to use my connections. Trust me. I know my people. I know who's good. I know who I can trust. So yeah, that has been my journey in my years of being in Pittsburgh. I'm really glad I moved here, because to have this, to have the experiences that I've gotten to have, the personal, the very personal experiences I've gotten to have, the very meaningful experiences that I've gotten to have. It doesn't take much to get me excited, guys. It doesn't take much to get me hyped. And I mean, these things, it still happens, no matter where I go, I still have these things happen. And well, my latest venture will be me getting myself ingrained in the like right now. It's been an uptick with EDM. That's been my thing lately that I've been on, and so I might be getting myself more ingrained in there. Just saying, I don't know. They're trying to convince me to become a DJ. Well, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the time for that. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. But at least if I can, if it's something as simple as like, hey, if I can help sell tickets, if I can help get posters out and stuff like that, I'll help promote. Like, if I can at least do that type of stuff, I'll be doing that type of stuff. But that's my latest thing I'll be doing, getting myself involved in more, is I'll be getting myself into that scene more. You're going to see very much an uptick on witchy things. I might talk to. I might have some metaphysical people that I know that I'll talk to on here who can share about what they've been doing and tools that can be useful for people. I feel there's tools that I feel that can help people that exist. So if I can help get you guys there, I will. So definitely, this is 2025 is, for all intents and purposes, it's a big year for me. Very big year. I mean, it kind of like, it was like increments, like, 2023 and then 2024 and then 2025 is when it really started taking off. That's when I really started like flapping my wings. And but yeah, so it's gonna be fun. All right, so I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about today. I just mostly wanted to let you guys know about what I'm doing, and start talking about it more. So, to all those who didn't know, surprise! So, yeah. But, hey, there's one thing I will say. I mean, I have a lot to be proud of myself. And by all rights, I mean, yes, I should have an ego. But it's not going to be like a toxic ego. It's not going to be a toxic ego. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm better than anybody else. I'll blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm not going to say that because I'm not better than anybody else. I just happen to be blessed. Luck. It's magic. I don't know. It just kind of just congruently, just naturally just happens. And I'm grateful for how it happened, because if it wasn't for that, I'd probably be dead by now, to be honest with you guys. Like, I wouldn't be here as I am right now if it wasn't for that. For those people who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and they were telling me all this time, like, and it just never sunk in, that I just couldn't. It just, something was blocking me from realizing that, but I'm so grateful and so thankful that I gotten to have the experiences I did. I got to do things that most people, you're not doing these things unless you're paying money for it. Half the time I wasn't paying money. It was just me being me, and that was price of admission in itself, was just me being me. But yeah, just everything that, just the things that I got to have, the experiences I've gotten, and still happening to this very day. That I get to do this. This is my life. I did this somehow with help. I mean, I had help, but it was mostly just me never giving up. It was me being persistent. It was me being like, no, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be doing. I love doing it. I love being a part of it, and it helps me love myself, because then it helps me see that, yes, I'm not just this cog existing in this machine. Like, I am actually one of the parts getting this machine going. Like, I'm helping this machine move. I'm very much a part of this moving process. And it's still, to this day, it's like it's mind-blowing. Like, I can't, like, it doesn't feel like real life at times. It feels very surreal that, half the shit that I got to do and I'm still doing actually really happened. Like, it's crazy to me. I'm nobody, I'm not like famous or anything. I mean, at least not like famous, but I'm just a person, and I got to do these things, and I made this shit happen. And so don't get it twisted. Like, I'm very grateful that I get to be a part of these things. I'm grateful that you guys invite me to these things and want me to be there. And I know why you want me to be there, and I get it. I totally understand why you want me there, because I'm the one that's once I'm there, you know what to expect. You know what you're in for. You want that. You invite that upon yourselves. You want that shit. You get it. You certainly get it. But I love it. I love doing that. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. So, yeah. So, I think I said everything I needed to say on this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. So, yeah. Go to the Gruesome Gazette Facebook page. Go to gruesomegazette.com. Check out the YouTube. We do have an Instagram. because that is on Instagram. I need to get that updated. So I'm gonna be working on getting that updated. If you want to connect with me personally, you can. Hi, I'm Thorn. You can find me on Facebook, Thorn McDonough. So connect with me there. Feel free. I don't care. Most of you guys are probably, most of you guys watching already know me. So, yeah. Check us out. Thank you for joining today. Have a good night. Love y'all. Bye for now.